Hello and welcome. Hope you're all well, and thank you very much for coming over and watching this video. What have I installed for you, I hear you ask? Well, this time I am making a Christmas gift for some really good friends I have in Wales. They're quite traditional, so it's going to be something that's nice looking, woody, and hopefully something that's a bit more a bit interesting. So I have this gnarly old bit of wood here that has been sent to me by Brian of Heartwood Turning. He sent it to me quite a while ago. We've got a nasty inclusion in the back there, and there's a couple of cracks in it as well. So we're going to see what we can get out of it. So my plan is that we're going to turn a hollow form out of this. So I'm going to get it on the lathe. We're going to find the center of the mass. So hopefully we should lose quite a bit of this out of the back here. And then we're going to see what we can get out of it and what's underneath this burl wood. So, did I succeed? Did I fail? Well, you're going to have to watch the video to find out. So, let's get this over to the lathe, get it centered, get it rounded up, and we will actually see what we've got. So, how big a bit we're going to end up with, I do not know. But, brace yourselves in, we're going for it. So, I'll meet you guys over at the lathe. Right, so here we are. So let's get a rough sizes. I know you guys like sizes, so it's around about 250mm long. Whoops, at the widest point, it's around about 160mm across at the widest point. And like I say, we've got this gnarly bit, or this massive inclusion in the back here. A couple of cracks coming in there, one in there, one in there. So we're going to see what we can get out of it. Now, I want to try and keep as much as this as I can. So, and obviously lose that. So we're going to put it basically off center to start with to reduce this bit here. So normally you'd go center. So if we got, what do I say, about 160, normally you go 80mm center, so that give you 50-50. But obviously we want to lose a lot of this and keep this. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring that over. So it's around about here somewhere rather than over in the center. The logic is there because we want to be trying to remove this nasty bit here, and that's the only way that we can do it. And then, because if not, if we put it in the center, we're going to turn a lot of this away and keep a lot of that, which we don't want. So let's keep this and lose this by turning it off center. So let's go there. So 80mm would be our center, roughly there. So let's move it over another, what's that, roughly 25-30mm deep. So let's move it over another 25mm there, and then we'll do the width here about 150, so that's about 75, so that's around about there somewhere. So that's going to be roughly the center on that side. And then what we're going to do is we're going to pinpoint this on one end, and then we're going to put it in our chut or in our in between centers, and we're going to spin it. Just the off center on the other end might not be the same. So let's see how this goes. So we're going to dot punch this just so it gives us something to push into. So we'll put this end on our live center, and then we'll bring our tail stock up, and then we'll rough eye it there somewhere. And what we'll do is we'll just rotate it, and we know it's going to be off center, but we want to lose a lot of this nasty bit here, which is the plan. So we've got around about, so that's roughly where that is. So it shouldn't be far off of there. Right, so what we need to do is just need to be cautious as we're rounding it, because obviously it's going to be like doing off center, it's going to be off balance. So we just need to take it nice and slow, keep checking that there, because we're only holding really on just over 3/4 of our spigot, so we just need to make it nice and slow and see how we go. So let's get a nice rough and gouge. So I'm using the large rough and gouge, Simon Hope large rough and gouge, and we're just gently going to turn this up to get rid of these bits here. Our concern at the moment is getting rid of this bit here and leaving that there. That's our concern at the moment. Once we might be able to move that in a little bit further, but at the moment that's my priority, is just to remove all this nasty bit here. So wish me luck. Let's move the camera in, see if that's any better. That might be too close. Yep, that's too close. So let's alter that camera so that you guys can get the best view possible. So there. And then what we'll do is we'll alter it back later on. So as always, we're between centres, so we're going to turn our lathe down really low, stand to one side, and turn on the lathe. And then we're just going to gradually build up the speed so we get a comfortable speed without it shaking the guts out of the lathe, which is round about there. So that's about 350 RPM. So we're looking for the ghost line of where the bits are coming through. We're just gently going to nib away at these bits. Now it's going to take a little while. But we're in no hurry. So we want a nice sharp gouge for this, which is what we've got. Now we might get some bits come off of that from where the there's a few split, so that might break off a few little bits, but so we're trying not to apply pressure at the moment. We're just scraping it through to just stop there and have a look. So we'll just take a little bit more off this end, and then we can move our tool rest down a little bit. Just going to tighten up our bit, it's slipping just a little tiny bit. Now you'll find the more and more you get at balance, you'll be able to increase the speed just a little tiny bit, but we're a little bit off of that at the moment, so let's just move that in a little bit. So trying to keep the tool rest as tight as we can get. Give us the best control. So you can perhaps see what we call the ghost line. When you look through it, you can see the actual high and low spots. So the solid line is the actual where it's going to be the biggest part, and what we call the ghosting line, where you can see it, is what's got to come off. Let's try, see if a smaller gouge would be, let's move it in actually, see if a smaller rough and gouge would be any more gentler. So we're getting to a stage now where we're just catching some of the burl. We nearly got that out now, so that's good. If I can get that out, I'll be really pleased. Get that out, get that flat, get that round, I'll be pleased. That'll be good. I'm not worried about some inclusions in here, that's part of the feature of it, but my biggest problem was getting rid of that big bit there. So I think we're on the right track, and I think we're going to make it look really cool. So let's keep turning it away and see what we come up with. Looking good. It's a beautiful piece of wood, absolutely beautiful. It's going to look awesome when that's done, absolutely awesome. It might be too nice, I don't want to give it away, I might have to keep it, you never know, but we'll see what happens. Right, let's get back up to the bigger gouge, see if we can get a little bit more speed out of it. I'll actually get a better cut with that little gouge. Going to keep our full rest as close as we can get it. Oh. So we've got the most stability as we can get. So that's nearly gone now, that's nearly gone. So a couple more passes and that will be perfectly round on that side. It will be awesome. We're just going to make sure that's tight because we don't want it coming out. Let's have a look at that. There, that's out. That's out. Perfect. So we've got rid of that nasty divot in there, we've got rid of that nasty flat there, that's nice and round there, and we've left some of the burl here that hasn't been touched, so that's perfect, absolutely perfect, that's what I wanted. So what we've got to do now is we have got to turn this so that we can get, is that a crack in there? No, it's a bit of bug, sorry. So that we can get a tenon on it. Now this is our widest point here, so I think we're going to do it. So our tenon, so this is our widest point here, so what we're going to do is we're going to create a tenon on this end. Now the reason I'm going to do a tenon is because obviously it's a burl, so it might not be the best quality, it might be a little bit brittle, and with that we've got a compression clamp rather than an expanding clamp, so it's going to hold it much better. I'm using the SC4 jaws, so that gives me a tenon of around about 48mm, something like that. So that's what we're going to create. So we'll square this end up, and actually this will be our bottom then. So let's get a parting tool, let's get this squared up, and then we can create our tenon. So let's put you back onto a overhead camera so you can see. So again, I'm going to go in here, just cutting my tenon nice and slow. So we're going to get a little bit of balance because obviously we're some of it is in fresh air, so once we get to all solid it should change. A nice sharp gouge now. So we want, for our tenon we require 47mm or so, so let's make it a little bit bigger. So let's go 48, so we'll just open our jaws to 48mm, and then we will cut that down and use our vernier or our gauge to get that. So come back a little bit. So normally if I was doing a normal piece I would use the calipers, or you guys will see me do it, use the calipers while I'm turning it, but because this has got some soft bits in it, I didn't want the chance of it grabbing the calipers and pulling them out of my hand, so I'm just going to keep stopping and starting. There's no hurry, better to be safe than sorry. Tight transition line, because that's where we want our jaws to bang into. If we haven't got a nice transition line there, our jaws won't sit square, then our piece won't sit square in our chuck. So just going to get the spindle gouge, give a little bit more speed really, and just bring the, and we're just going to get that so that's a nice tight transition in there like that. Like so, if we don't get a nice tight transition in there, then the jaws won't seat properly and they won't hold it. It won't hold it properly. So now we're ready to swap it over, put that into our jaws. We still keep a tail stock up in place to hold it and make it secure, but now we should be able to hold it in our jaws to start getting our shape of what we want. Now that's the next question, what sort of shape do I want it? So I'm gonna have to sort of play around a little bit and see what, because like I said, I want to try and keep some of this, so I don't want to lose too much of that. Oops, but I want to make it obviously pretty nice looking as well. So we'll see what we've got. So let's move this in a little bit. So we'll just nudge that up a little bit, not too tight, and then that should give us a nice seat to our chuck. Just lock that in place. I think we'll just lock the tailstock camera out of the way. Don't need it at the moment, so right, so now we can think about what shape we're going to get on this. So I don't want too big and bulky. Obviously I want to try and keep as much as I can keep of it. So I think we're going to have to try and bring some sort of shape into the top, and we're going to lose a little bit of this, but that's in all there, and then we need to sort of shape the bottom. So what I want to do now is I just want to put a transition line in where I'm going to finish it. Now we've got a little bit of puckiness there, so I might lose that bit, and that do me a favour, because there's a, let's go back on there, there's a nasty bit in there which I think is going to come flying out before long. So if we come just above that gnarly bit there, that real soft bit there, yeah, that's really soft, so come just above that. Right, so that's going to be our bottom. Got a bit in my mouth. So that's going to be our bottom, so we can start shaping that in a little bit now. And then we can start doing something with this top. Obviously I can't leave this flat here because that's going to look absolutely awful. So we need to try and shape the top of that a little bit. So we've only got a narrow neck. And then I'm going to try and hollow it out with just a narrow neck. But we need to get some sort of shape on it. So, maybe like an old-fashioned bottle look, but then am I going to lose some of that? Let's have a look. Going to try and make it so you justify the piece of wood. Leaving it like that doesn't look right because it's just flat. So I'm going to start curving this over, and then we will see how it comes. Just take the bare minimum off it. So I'm using a 1/2 inch bowl gouge now. Now the reason I'm using a 1/2 inch bowl gouge is because it's a little bit stronger than a 3/8. So maybe leave that as a little bit of a rim, so it looks like a porcelain vase that sort of had the side broken out of it. What do you reckon? And then we'll hollow some of this out, and then that should expose some of the inside. Don't know, let's just do a little bit more on that and see what that looks like. So maybe something like that. This will be like our rim, and then once we take some of that, some of this will go out of the way then. I wonder if that'll work. We just need to get a nice neat transition line in there. Now, I don't want to take too much out of there at the moment because obviously we've got to hollow out. So hollowing out is going to be quite aggressive, so we need to keep as much support there as we can. So what I'll do now is I'll sweep that over a little bit, and then we can always come back and hone that in after we've hollowed out. So let's just gently take some of this off. So I think we've got our rough shape. So what we need to do now is start hollowing it, I think, and then once we've hollowed it, then we can refine our outer edge actually. So we will refine it a little bit better before we actually hollow that. It's going to be a little bit brittle once we start. So, wow, look at this piece of wood. Absolutely stunning piece of wood. Got the swirls of the burls there. Got natural burl on the back. We've got a few little cracks where the burls come through there. And then the burl carries on. Absolutely amazing piece of wood. It's going to be, once it's oiled, it's just going to pop. I'm not going to wax it because there's too many inclusions. You just get wax it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to oil it. But what we need to do first is hollow it out. That's going to be our next challenge. So I've just sanded this up to 400 grit, just because I thought once we've hollowed it, it may be a little bit delicate. I don't want to come through the side because I don't want to lose that. I really want to keep that. So I'm going to just, I think it's only going to be hollowed out low down there, but I don't know, I'm not 100% sure yet. We'll just have to see how it's like when we do it. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to run a small forcing bit all the way through, which gives me about 1 inch opening, and then I'm going to try and hollow it out with 1 inch opening at the top there. So we'll see how we go, but like I say, if I don't break through this, I'll be happy, because I'm quite happy to colour that, maybe a bit of gold or a bit of bronze, just to, you know, make it look a little bit, or actually it might be nice just leaving it, I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, let's get it hollowed and see how we go from there. So like I say, I'm going to run a forcing bit through there, no bigger than about 1 inch, and then we're going to try and hollow it as much as we can get out of it through that 1 inch hole. So 1 inch hole should give me enough room with the Simon Hope hollowing tool or the easy one. So I'm going to get a drill bit in there, I'm going to get a forcing bit in there, I'm going to run a forcing bit through there, no bigger than about 1 inch. And then what I want to try and do, I want to try and hollow it all out using that one hole, hopefully not breaking through this too much. If I can keep, I don't know, I wanted to come through and I wanted it to show through, but now I've turned it, I don't know whether I wanted to, I'm not 100% sure. So anyway, let's get it drilled out, and we will have a look after that. So what I need to do is find 1 inch drill bit, or forcing bit, and run that through there. So let's have a look what we got here. So like I say, I want to be round about 1 inch, 25mm, perfect. So we'll run this through as far as we can get it, and then we'll put the extension bar on and do it that way to get as far down as we can get. So I'm hoping, because it's a burl, it's going to be quite soft inside, so it's not going to take a lot of hollowing out. But we're not going to know until we start. Feeding that in. We're going to take it nice and slow. It should give the shavings a chance to eject. You also try and wind it in too quick, you might just go off a little bit, and which normally wouldn't be a problem, but because we've got those bits that are all the inclusions, they might be a bit thinner and we don't want to be hitting one of those. Right, so that's my depth, 180mm. So let's get this all the way out of the way. So let's blow the dust out of there. Now for the fun part. We've now got to try and hollow it out. As you can see, we've actually broken through some of it. I don't really want to go much further in that, so I'm going to try and do it so past that point is where I start shaping it. So let the fun begin, and let's see how this goes. Right, so what I'm going to start with is I'm going to start with the Pro Hollower from Simon Hope, and then we will see how we get on with that. If need be, I will change over to something else, but hopefully that will be okay. So I'm going to take my tail slot right off out of the way, so it gives me a bit more room. I may have to swing the head around a little bit, but we will cross that bridge when we come to it. So I don't know which is going to be the best camera for you guys, whether it be that one or that one. I think if I do that one, I'm going to be in the way, am I? No, I should be okay. So let's zoom in a little. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start nibbling this out with this is the Simon Hope Pro Hollower. So on here you'll see I've got a couple of lines. So the first line is vertical, so that means the tip is upright, and then the second line is 45 degrees. You can't really see that. Let me just redefine those lines for you. So the first line I have is running parallel down the shaft, like so, and then the second one is running at 45 degrees. It's not the best pen in the world, so it tells me my tip is at 45. So let's go for this and see what happens. So nice and steady. That bit of wood is actually wet in there. It's a little bit of moisture coming out of there. So whether it's actually wet all the way down, I'm not sure. But it just might be where it's sweating where I've cut it. There's definitely moisture coming out of there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the headstock a little bit. The reason being is I'm struggling to get into it. So I need to move that around so that I can get into it easier, because I can't. I'm struggling to hold the tool because as it's going in, it's sort of bouncing a little bit. So hopefully, put you on this camera here. That should you should be able to see. Just move that around a little bit. You should be able to see. So if you can't see, shout and I'll move it. I can now control the tool a little bit better. But look how wet that is. So I'm hoping that's just where the wood's got a little bit of moisture in it, and with the heat of us turning it, it's producing a little bit of moisture. That's what I'm hoping anyway. I'm hoping it's not. Well, it shouldn't be wet inside. It's been stuck in the workshop since Brian sent it to me, so it should be well dry. Oh, we're getting there. It's very bitty inside. That's part of the problem. That's why it's jumping around so much. So it's just a case of taking our time, just gently nibbling at it, and
Many hours later.
so I'm thinking, now I've got it turned, I'm thinking that I should do all this bit gold. I don't know. Or do I just oil it? I'm not 100% sure. I like it. I really do like it, but I'm not 100% sure how to finish it. So it's got a few little bits that are broken out. So I think being gold and might make it look a little bit more presentable. Either that or I do it black. Question, isn't it? Not 100% sure. Some people like to see it natural. Some people a little bit of colour. I think a little bit of colour won't hurt it. But is it going to ruin it? That's the question. And where are you guys when I need a decision? So I think what I need to do. What am I going to do? Let's just finish that off a little bit better than that. Remember some of this. A little bit out of shape. Banging it around has knocked it a little bit out of shape, so obviously it might have been a little bit wet. So we're just going to have to try and feather that in now. I don't think there's enough on there to nowhere near enough on there to get it back, so we'll just have to sand that a little bit out. So let's just sand that. Righty, so that's up to 400 grit on the base, that's all sanded up. So let's get a little bit of oil on it. Just double check all these openings here. I've just run this little file down there basically to get rid of the sharp edges, because where it breaks through, these are sharp edge. And we don't want that. We want a little bit of a round on it. A little bit for us, a little bit thin, so we need to be careful of it. Right, so let's get some oil on it and see how it comes out. I'm not 100% sure, but time will tell. So I'm going to put on top of that, oh, if I can get it out of the cupboard, some citrus oil, because I don't want to sheen on, I don't want to shine on it. I want a satin finish. So let's get a brush so we can brush it on, so we get a nice generous coat. We've got to do the inside as well. So love this stuff, it smells absolutely gorgeous. So I'm going to give us a nice generous coat. Hopefully this is going to pop. Look at that. Beautiful. Like I say, not if I need to, I can colour it afterwards once the oil's evaporated a little bit. I'd rather, I don't know what's going to look like. Like I say, I want something traditional, but you know me, I like a bit of colour too. And we'll really work this into the burly bits. This will perhaps have 3 or 4 coats of this. Just quite a thirsty bit of wood by the looks of it. Some bits are drying really quick, some bits aren't. Need to get some on the inside as well. So I'll perhaps just pour that in and just let that slosh about, maybe. Lovely piece of wood. It's actually gone quite dark on that bit there, where the burl is. So obviously, as always, with a cloth that you've had oil on it, leave it to dry before you put it into the bin, because it may combust, because obviously oils generate a little bit of heat as they dry. So what I will do, I have a metal tray I lay this in. I will put this in my metal tray, and then I will come back to it. Once it's dry, I will then chuck it in the bin. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to part this off, and then I'm going to allow it to dry, and then if I want to, if I feel the need to put gold in there, I will do that, but at the moment I'm not 100% sure. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to part this off, and then we'll see what it looks like. It's going to spray everywhere, so let's get a cloth on there, stop all the oil splashing everywhere. Alright, so let's get this parted off and get the bottom cleaned up, and then I'll leave it overnight and decide what I'm going to do. But at the moment I'm not 100% sure. So I'm going to put a slight undercut on the bottom so that it sits actually on the edge. I'm not going to go too far forward. See how good the bit of wood is. No, it's not a very good bit of wood. So let's just cut that through from there. Get a saw. We'll just cut that through from there. So it's not the best bit of wood in the world. Not best bit of wood in the world. What we can do now is we can just finish that off, get rid of this bit here, and get the Jacob's chuck in. We'll just get the bottom sanded up, and like I say, I'll leave it overnight and decide what I want to do, which I'm not 100% sure yet. I like the idea of putting the gold on it, but then I don't really want to. But on the other hand, I don't want to ruin it and regret it. So I'd rather just be patient and see what happens. Right, so let's just get this quickly sanded up. Just get a bit of a stuff. Like I said, I'm surprised how dark it's gone. It's gone a lot darker than what I thought it would go, to be honest. But I think it needs a little bit more. Maybe not. I don't know. It's definitely gone darker, but I think I'm now looking at it. I think the gold would really complement this this front edge to show you that's the front. So let's put it on a camera. So I'm thinking now. Let's put it on that one now. Actually, I'm now thinking that if I actually do gold this, it might complement it to make it look a little bit better. But I'm not going to make a hasty decision. I'm going to leave it there for tonight, and then I'm going to come back. Can't see it, can you? I'm going to leave it there for tonight, and then I'm going to come back once I've thought about it and finish it off. But I'm now thinking that maybe gold in all these little voids may be the way to go. But anyway, we will leave it there. So whether I do it or I don't do it, you will see at the end of the video. So suspense is killing you, isn't it? Will I? Won't I? Will I? Won't I? You'll find out tomorrow. So the dying question is, did I colour it? Did I leave it natural? Did I gold leaf it? I actually left it natural. It took me nearly 4 weeks to decide what I'm going to do with this. I kept toying with the idea of gold in this, and then I eventually looked at it and thought, you know what, if I do it, I'm going to take away the natural beauty of the Burl wood. So in the end, I decided not to, and I think I've made the right choice. I hope I've made the right choice, but I think I've made the right choice. So this has now had 4 coats of citrus lemon oil. Still quite thirsty. I gave it a coat a few days ago, and it's still soaking in really, really quick. I may give it another coat before I ship it out to the people. Yeah, I really, really enjoyed doing this. First time I've actually done a Burl with the breaking through the side, so I was a little bit nervous. It's not hollowed out the best. Still a bit chunky in places, but I wanted to stop because it was getting really thin on this edge here and here, so I didn't want to go any further and end up breaking the whole lot out. Plus it's really flimsy there, and I didn't want the bit breaking out in total. But anyway, I'm happy with it. Nice little entrance hole on the top, so I'm really happy with how it's turned out. I hope they like it. What I'll do is I'll get some photographs of this and stick them at the end so you can get some better images of it, as the camera doesn't really do it justice. But other than that, guys, thank you very much for coming and joining me. If you like it, then please smash that share and like button. As always, it's very much appreciated. So other than that, I'll see you guys on the next one. So anyway, guys, take care, speak to you soon, and bye for now.